Oh my goodness, the conversations that go on off camera here on WHIG TV's morning show. We can. I've said for years, Sherrill, we can make a DVD of the stuff and sell it, and people would pay for it to hear what is said. Welcome to the show, Sherrill Braswell, Statewide Insurers, for Your Money, Your Life segment. Sherrill, today, what is going to be our topic for today? Introduce what you're going to be discussing.
Yes, sir. The subject for today is going to be near and dear to my heart. It's called inflation.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Inflation. We're going to talk about it, and I truly hope y'all get so mad after listening to me today that you go out and find somebody in the state or federal legislature and choke them. And make them go to work to solve this problem.
We're promoting violence here on the. Be careful. We're promoting violence on the show. We have all kinds of people doing crazy mess all over town. So if you see somebody choking somebody on the side of the road, then you can blame us because we actually promoted that behavior. Sherrill, there is a term, as we mentioned, talking about inflation. The invisible tax, also why is it called that?
Let me give you a couple of little short examples and little definition there.
Okay.
Inflation is when you pay $15 for a $10 haircut that you used to be able to get for $5.
Right. And we're seeing that everywhere right now.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And then there was a fellow named John Maynard Keynes who was an economist many moons ago, and I just this one hurts, but it's the truth. By a continuing process of inflation, government can confiscate secretly and unobserved an important part of the wealth of its citizens.
Absolutely.
Because
secretly being the key word
yes,
there.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That is the truth.
Well, and it's so frustrating, and I know this is exactly what I mean. People, it is hit. I'm 43, and I know that we've had different bouts with this over time. But to me, what we have seen in the last couple of years has been the worst thing that I remember comprehending. Like I say, when you're younger, you don't pay as much attention to it because you're not paying the bills.
Yep.
But the last 2 or 3 years has been really tough for people's pockets.
Yes. This is one. This 2 weeks ago, I was in the grocery store. I walked out of the grocery store carrying 2 bags, not big bags, and y'all, it had cost me $74. I thought, my gosh, I can walk out of the grocery store in my hands $100 worth of groceries.
Please tell me you at least had a little steak in there.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
That makes me feel a little bit
better. That's how I justified it to myself. And I said, well, I hadn't had a steak in a long time.
Okay, all right. That makes me feel a little better.
But it's just, it's one of those things, we call it an invisible tax. Just because you don't write a check to inflation like you write a check to the IRS.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it.
Well, I was going to say,
makes your money disappear.
Yeah, I was going to say I am seeing it. I run the Booster Club at Central.
Oh yeah.
And people coming up to me is like, why, like complaining about paying $3 for a 20-ounce bottle drink or a Gatorade. And I think maybe tomorrow night at the game I will say. Next to my price list, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do this, but next to my price list, say prices thanks to the invisible tax.
Yeah, that's a good one,
but I tell people that, and they're like, I know it just stinks, but you go into a gas station, that same bottle is like $2.79. So I don't. It really has gotten people's attention. It really has gotten people's attention, and it is definitely. So let's think about this. Go into a little bit. I know you kind of started, but go into a little bit more detail about what is really causing this inflation at the time.
The simple Reader's Digest version: inflation is caused by your government printing money. because they got that printing press.
No.
They can print all they
That's
want
right.
to. It's just it's nuts. But that's the super simple thing, because you think about it. I mean, more and more, I'm the oldest guy in the room every time I'm anywhere. And, my wife and I bought our first house together in 1981, I believe it was.
Okay.
Now, y'all, if you were around then, you remember this, but I talk to people who are in their 20s and 30s and 40s, and they look at me like I got three heads when I say this. We bought our first house, the best deal in town for a mortgage at that time was the State Employees Credit Union. Guess how much our mortgage was? And we had a 50% down payment.
You mean per month?
No, just the interest rate on
Oh,
our mortgage.
I don't know. Tell me.
16.5%.
Whoa! I know. I would have never.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that. I would have been way off.
Yeah, prime interest at that time, which is interest that was charged to the best bank's customers, was like 20%.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Fortunately, it didn't last real long.
Yeah.
But that's what's happened. That has happened in the past.
Right.
And last year we were running 8 or 9% inflation, and truly it's closer to 15, because they've changed the formula that they use to define inflation with, and it's they take out the things that are going up the most. I mean,
that's crazy.
Madness.
I think the things that stand out to me personally is restaurant prices being higher. You mentioned the grocery store. Obviously, that's where I think it hits people the most. Those fast food combos that you're used to being able to roll up and get a $5 combo are almost doubled now. You don't see. I mean, you go to any fast food place, you get a burger, fry, and a drink. You ain't coming out of there for less than $10.
Yep.
It's just not going to happen.
Yep.
Sherrill, are there other examples that I hadn't mentioned, other than the really obvious ones like that, of this type of inflation that maybe people don't see or don't recognize?
This is something I've read this several years back, and I wrote it down, and I use it from time to time. This is what I call the Kool-Aid test.
Okay.
So you got little Johnny supposed to be making Kool-Aid to have for supper that night, and he mixes up a batch.
Okay.
And he's looking at the thing there, and he's getting thirsty, so he takes a drink, and then he has a second one and a third one, and then he's in trouble because it's half gone. And so he's got to save this situation and get it fixed for supper. So he gets a brilliant idea. Instead of making more Kool-Aid, he just adds some water to what's already there. Now think about it. Do you think that's really going to taste as good as it did?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Got to have that flavor.
And that's essentially what happens when your government prints money, because they are the only people who can legally do it.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I think about this. We actually have a counterfeit $20 bill that somebody slipped to us, and the bank, saw it. When my wife was in there one day, and so we have one of those.
There you go.
For what it's worth.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, the government prints the money, and guess what? They get to spend it first before you and I do. And so when you're diluting your money supply, just like when you're diluting the Kool-Aid, the value, that flavor goes down.
That is true.
It goes down.
That is very true.
So every dollar that comes out of that situation has less value.
Absolutely.
So 5 years ago, when you were paying, I don't know, like you said, you could go and get a $5 meal about anywhere.
Yeah.
And today it's $10.
At least, yeah.
And the only reason things cost more is not because they intrinsically cost more. It's just because the cost of money has gone up.
Okay, that makes sense.
The value of the money's gone away.
So what are some other ways, like I said, we mentioned the obvious ones, and I appreciate you breaking it down like that. That's a great example, with the Kool-Aid and everything like that. So what are some other ways that it really hurts us, other than, how does this inflation hurt you, other than, some of those obvious ways?
Yeah.
People, that's what I hear people complain about the most is restaurants, grocery stores. Are there behind the scenes things where it really gets to folks the most?
Yes, and again, you know, when the cost of living increases, the price of your everyday goods, you know, these are going up faster than wages are going up. And who does this really hurt the hardest the most?
Right.
Middle income and lower income people.
Definitely. Definitely.
And it literally pushes them down into a lower standard of living.
It does.
Yeah. And it really gets ugly. And we won't have time to get into this today, but I'll do it next time.
Okay.
It really gets ugly when you get into your retirement situation and your retirement funding that you're trying to build, you know, in your younger years.
Yeah.
Think about this. You know, if we say that inflation is 4%, which is a little bit higher than what the government tells us it is right now, this is what happens. If it's 4%, that means that every 18 years, your money goes down by half. The value of your money goes down by half. And so what does that mean in numbers? Let's say, you know, that you're 47 years old today, and you and your spouse, you have $100,000 a year income that you live off of. Well, when you're 65, that's only going to have that value of that $100,000 that you've got is only going to be 50,000.
Oh yeah.
And you know, whether you want to or not, most of us are going to live to be 100 because they're going to keep us alive. And so if you live to be 83, that same person, well, now that 18 years later, has a true value of $25,000.
Wow. That's
So
huge. Yeah.
that's, you know,
Man.
that's when it hurts, man.
Oh, totally.
That's when it hurts.
And what stinks, Sherrill, is this is a situation where the only thing you can do is absorb it. I mean, there's nothing you can really do as a person. You know, a lot of times you can say, "Oh, I can budget and say." No, I mean, there's nothing you can do to control this.
Yeah.
You're just at the mercy of the situation.
Yeah.
So, well, I appreciate your explanation of this. For those that may be seeing you for the first time, I mean, most people are used to seeing you. Recap statewide insurers, what you do, and you know, just in general, what you do every day to help people in their life.
Yeah, we of course we're located at 880 Country Club Road in Rocky Mount at the intersection of Country Club and Hunter Hill in the business condominiums.
Yep.
You know, I work with people to, you know, help them. We do a lot of work with people who are retirement age or planning for retirement or in retirement. So, you know, big factor, one of the things we do is helping people make the wise decisions in their Medicare related programs.
Okay.
We've got folks who've been doing this on our staff that have been doing it for 25 and 30 years. So,
Lots of experience.
with lots of experience, I've seen about every crazy situation you can have.
I'm sure you have.
And, you know, I also, you know, I'm a registered investment advisor and work with folks to make, you know, again, smart decisions about their money. And, you know, my philosophy is planning for retirement is not rocket science. It is not rocket science.
But most people don't know really how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, and you know, that's one thing that I preach about all the time is we do a horrible job of teaching kids because this is not going to change until we change their mindset. Coming along. Yeah.
You should, people like you, Sherrill, should be in every high school, and it should be a class, in my opinion. I'm 100% serious. A lot of the stuff that these kids are made to learn, I'm sitting here thinking they will never use it. This is the type of stuff that I wish was actually required. I think it should be a required course to learn how to manage money. How do people get in contact with you, Sherrill, if they want to set up an appointment and find out how to handle their money?
Yeah. Our office main number is 252-316-8166. Call, please leave a message. I mean, we stay busy, and you will probably get a voicemail half the time. Please leave your information, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we possibly can. We go out and see people. We got a lot of older folks, and we will go see them. So a lot of times we are out of the office. So please, call and get an appointment
Right.
before you show up on the door. And we got, be back in 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Right.
Sign on the door.
There you go.
So please give us a call ahead of time. We'll set up an appointment for you, get you in. Just look at what you got. If you're in good shape, I'm gonna say, hey man, drive on. You don't need to change a thing.
Yeah.
And we don't charge to sit down and talk with people.
Okay.
And explain the situation. And we'll give you our ideas.
Okay.
And you still don't have to do business with us.
Okay.
But be glad to work with you.
Sounds good. Sherrill Braswell Statewide Insurer has been with us for the Your Money, Your Life segment here on the Live Morning Show. We'll take a break, come back, get another look at weather, and then wrap up some conversations on our previous topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.